Hello, thank you for clicking on the Literacy Volunteers of Harrison County YouTube channel. We're a nonprofit United Way agency, and we provide these educational videos to you to use for your own purposes. We would like for you to subscribe to our channel on the subscribe button below. If you click the bell icon, you'll be notified when we put up new videos. And please like them and share them with your friends. Today we're going on with our phonics lesson, and this one is Learn to Read Lesson 2. And learning to read is a complex process that requires various skills and strategies, and we're going to look at those today. Some of those are phonics, or one of those is phonics, and that's the relationship between letters and sounds. And we've looked at two things with phonics. We looked at syllables, and we looked at just different ways to divide up words and things like that. So today we're going to look at the 10 simple steps to teach your child to read at home. So we know a lot of people are trying to teach their children from home now during this coronavirus, and this will help you if you have kids that can't read or can't read well, some strategies that you could use to help your kids learn how to read. So the first one, we can use songs and nursery rhymes to build phonemic awareness, and that's that rhyme and that rhythm that you have in nursery rhymes and songs will help kids to hear the sounds and the syllables in various words, and that will help them learn how to read once they are able to identify those sounds and syllables. So you can clap rhythmically together and recite songs in unison. Nursery rhymes like the Itsy Bitsy Spider or Mary Had a Little Lamb, some things like that that have a cadence to them will help them to be able to remember sounds and syllables. So that's the step number 1 of 10. Number 2 is to make simple word cards at home. And all you have to do is to get index cards, or you could get up a sheet of paper and divide it, cut it up into pieces. And what we're going to do is to write a word that contains 3 sounds, 3 letter sounds on each card. So I've given you some examples here, right? So you hear the R, the A, and the M. We have 3 letters, 3 separate sounds. Then your child will choose a card, and then they're going to read the word together. You'll hold up 3 fingers and then ask them to say the first sound they hear, then the second sound, then the third sound, so that they can hear each individual sound. They know that R makes the sound In this instance, it's a short A, and ram. So that if they go through each individual letter and put the sounds together, they can say the word. Sort of like sat. This is also a short A sound, so s for S, sat. And you can go and to reiterate those and go over with and over again so that they can learn to say the words by looking at them and sounding them out. That's the easiest way to figure out what a word is, to sound it out. We also, number 3, you want to engage your child in a print-rich environment. So seeing printed words, it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. If you're at the doctor's office or if you're at church and you see posters or flyers or brochures or anything like that, you can point out words, even billboards, as you're driving down the road to your child and have them identify some words, right? It allows them to see, and then they can apply those connections between the sounds and the letters. Even a stop sign, right? You could sound out stop, and then you notice what it says and what you have to do, the action that goes with it. So when you see those things, you can ask your child questions. What is that word? That word is stop. You know, what sound does that letter make? The S, the T, the P, any of the letters. What does that mean? Some different questions you can ask them just as you're going about your daily life. You don't have to sit down necessarily and read a book, but you can engage them in seeing printed words and identifying printed words. You know, even open, close, off, on, things that you see all the time. Number 4, you want to play word games at home or in the car. So we're going to focus on games that encourage your child to listen to the word, to identify the word or letters, and to manipulate sounds in words, meaning we can move them back and forth. So we'll look at that here in a minute. Some examples are, what sound does the word whatever start with? We'll go back to ram. What sound does the word ram start with? And you want your child to say R, right? What sound does the word dog start with? D, right? What sound does the word whatever end with? Dog. And they would say G, the G sound, right? What words start with the sound TH? You might want to say thumb, think, this, that. What word rhymes with hat? And then they would say bat, cat, rat. So these things help them to identify and to manipulate. If they know that AT is the root, they can put any letter in front of it and figure out what the word means. Number 5, we want to understand the core skills involved in teaching kids to read. And these are the 5 core skills. We'll go over them briefly. That phonemic awareness, hear and you manipulate sounds. Phonics, which is a little bit different, that's the connection between letters and sounds. A short A is ah, a long A is a, and R is right? Those are letters and sounds. And then here we're going to use sounds in different words and manipulate them. Vocabulary, which is really, really important. Those are meanings of words and definitions in the context in which those words are used, because you know some words mean the same thing in one instance and the word means something else in a different instance, and you don't want your child to get confused. You want to teach them when they're reading, they can figure out the definition of these words in context. Reading comprehension, you have to understand what you're reading. A lot of kids will just read words. And if you stop and say, what did you just read? They have no idea. So you want them to be able to comprehend what they're reading. It's very essential to reading any text and understanding what it means. And then fluency, the ability to read aloud with speed, understanding, and accuracy. It has to be all 3 of those. The longer you practice, the faster you become, the better you can read. You can read with speed. Then you have to understand the vocabulary, the comprehension comes into play. And then you want to be accurate. You have to know what the words mean, right? You have to be able to read in context and then take contextual clues. Number 6, and we're going to look at this here, is play with letter magnets. Right? Middle vowel sounds can be tricky. So if you're looking at those middle vowel sounds, we can help children learn those by using magnets like this on your refrigerator or some magnetic surface in your home. Put the vowels on one side of the fridge. So I've put the vowels up here for you, A, E, I, O, and U. Right? And then we're going to ask them a consonant, vowel, consonant word. And we went over that in the first video. So that example, consonant, vowel, consonant, cat. And then you say, your child, can you spell it using the magnets? So they would find the C and the A and the T, and then they can say cat. If we want to manipulate this, we'll say, well, how can we make this word say mat? So the child would have to be able to identify that k is cat, is mat. What letter makes the sound? So we remove the C, and then they can put the M up there. We can even ask them some of these here, help them say these vowel sounds that occur in the middle aloud. A, E, I, right? Ah, What words do those make? Like cup, right? Or we could use the U for cup and the C and the P, so that they understand that middle vowel sound makes different sounds. Can be you or you, right? Can be you. So that helps them to visualize it and to be able to manipulate those letters and those sounds together. So ask your child which one makes similar sounds to the middle sound. What other word has a in it that's not mat, right? So we could look down here and we can say whatever we want. Wet, well, that's E, but whatever, it doesn't make a difference. You would have to move all the letters around and figure out different words. And that helps them get a visual. A lot of kids are visual learners, so they have to be able to manipulate those things themselves. Then 7 is you can use technology to keep your child engaged. A lot of people don't like to let their children use technology a lot of the time, but sometimes it's essential for learning. They grew up in a world that's technology enabled. So there are many apps that are online that will help them. If you sit down with them, then it's something that the 2 of you could do together. Pull up the app, have them work through whatever online thing it is, and then the tutorials, games, tasks, and that was something that the 2 of you could do together. And I know a lot of their homework is online, so that you could help them with that as well. Number 8, you want to read together on a daily basis and ask questions about the book. Some people will sit down with a book when their kids go to bed and read every evening, or if you want to sit down, after dinner, different times during the day. So while you're reading, you're showing them how to sound out words. You're also building key comprehension skills as they listen to what they're hearing about the book. You're growing their vocabulary, introducing them to new words, and letting them hear what a fluent reader sounds like. What it sounds like to hear words read with speed, understanding, and accuracy, right? Fluency. So this will help your child to develop a love of reading, and it will strengthen their comprehension skills by asking questions while you read. You might say, it might be a book about a cat that went to a party, and you might say, who else attended the party? What was the party for? Who got invited? And even questions that might have them infer, why do you think the dog didn't get invited? So that helps them to use the skills of hearing the story and then making some inferences from that. Number 9, you want to play games to memorize high-frequency sight words every day. Sight words are ones that cannot be easily sounded out and need to be recognized on sight. As soon as you see that word, you know what it is. So high-frequency sight words occur very often in reading and writing. Words like you, I, we, am, had, and then you can read the rest of them to the. Those are words that we see all the time. We need to be able to recognize those immediately, right? So that's number 9. The last one, number 10, is be patient. The best way to teach kids is to read and make it fun. So if we're going back up here to look at the sight words, we want to see the word, say the word, right? That's what they want to be able to do. You don't want them to stop and wonder what the word is and be able to sound it out. See it, say it. So most children will be able to learn a few sight words by the age of 4. And then we can also use flashcards like we talked about in the beginning to help them with their sight words. Put them on the cards, the same cards that you used for the other activity. So we want to make reading fun. All learning we want to make fun. Every teacher desires to make whatever they teach something that's fun, that the kids want to learn, because if it's not fun, they don't want to learn, right? And you have to remember that each child is different. They all learn at their own pace. So one of your children may be a really good reader and the other one may be a slow reader, and you could even pair those two together to help each other out. We want to read regularly, but mix things up to keep it fun. Read different types of things. Let your child pick his or her own books occasionally so that it's something that they want to hear, something that they want to learn about, and this will pay off in the end. So if you kind of try to incorporate 1 or 2 of the strategies, you could do all 10 of them. Just use them to help you and to help your child learn how to read, because we want all children to be literate and fluent readers and love to read. So thank you, and please join us for our next video.